can help me. I don't know how many of you are familiar with how the state budget works, and I'm no expert, so that's why I asked Brett to speak up if I don't say the right thing, because I think you're more familiar with dates. But you know, on February 7th, Governor Corbett released his budget proposal, and Occupy Harrisburg had a funeral for fairness on the Capitol steps that many of you joined. But that's only the beginning of the process, and this is a disastrous budget. And I just went to a seminar that Brett told me about, and I'm very glad that I did. There's a book here about it if you'd like to look at it. I only have one. But the whole point is, again, the corporations in Pennsylvania aren't paying their fair share of taxes. 71% of corporations in Pennsylvania don't pay any net income tax. And just with mental health and substance abuse funding by themselves are being cut by 20% in the proposal. That's a disaster for mental health and substance abuse treatment. And that's just one of the things. You know, you've heard about universities being cut, public universities being cut. So it's a huge problem and one that I think we can impact if we get organized. And I did go to a breakout session at that seminar that was quite helpful, and you probably, Brett, might know some of the people that were involved in that. The person facilitating it was from the CLEAR Coalition, and then there was a woman from the Forbes something or other from Pittsburgh, and telling success stories about how they have successfully built coalitions and really have impacted change. And they talked about incorporating the Occupy movement into that because they need you, they need us, because we can do the wild and crazy things that they can't do. And they like that. Like, we can go camp somewhere, we can do the civil disobedience, we can do the direct action. So the question is, how do we coalesce? How do we make that happen? And I think that talking with the experts that already know how to do it is helpful, so I'm willing to be in touch with Diana out in Pittsburgh to see how that could happen. And Brett, you probably have other ideas and
well, I mean,
a lot more knowledge.
The real question to you people is how willing are people in your area willing to come to Harrisburg for stuff? How much would you rather go to Republicans in your district and, you know, talk about how the budget cuts are harming your district in particular? What are the limits? What are your ideas? You know, because Democrats have no say in this.
And I didn't talk about the timeline, but, you know, historically budgets are passed, it's a big deal if they're passed by June 30th, right? So by law, the budget's supposed to be passed by July 1st. So the negotiations are happening now with the House of the Representative General Assembly and the Senate, and then they come together and make decisions. But that's where, you know, we need to be talking about that too. In many ways, media blasting locally here in Harrisburg. But what did you think about Brett's question?
I think we would, from Scranton, I know some of us would be willing to come down. It would be nice if maybe organize like car points to like meet each other and like save on gas, you know.
Right.
I think from the Montgomery County area, we could do both. There would be some that would want to stay local and write letters and things like that. And then there's a group of us that would be willing to come out here too to show support.
That's what the issue of organizing things so that you can get the majority of people at one event, I think is relevant to what we're talking about right now.
With regard to that, are there any specific dates that are like
Targeted?
Yeah, or better that should be targeted, perhaps?
Do you have any clue about?
I mean, any day that you know that there's going to be a slow day in the media that you could actually get something. But generally speaking, you know, between now and June 30th, it's all open game. The budget won't pass until 10:50 on June 30th. That's the way it's going to happen, unless someone forces the legislator to do it fast. You know, there's a lot of line items in there. The one thing she didn't focus on that might help if you're having a problem reaching poor people to get them involved is they completely zeroed out cash assistance for anybody. You know, if you're having trouble getting your rent, and a lot of times you can go to the state and you'll get some rent money for a couple of months. They're getting rid of that. Completely done.
Right.
Well, I have another question. I'm not familiar with these types of actions. Would it be better to start early, like in a week or two, or do you think you'd get more press, more weight if you tried to hold up did it like something big toward the end?
The sooner the better.
Sooner the better.
Because towards the end, everything's been written. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna take them a good 2 weeks after sort of a decision. They decide on a framework, and then they have to write it into an actual bill. So, you know, for our purposes, we sort of want to prove that this is not a budget for the 99%. Here's broad suggestions on what we need, but more specifically on if we can get the more stories of how, you know, your kid right now, you know, can't pay to go to college, stuff like that. I guess, you know, another question would be, is everyone here understanding where information on the budget's coming from and how that people of our persuasion can find this out, like through Keystone Research and stuff like that? Is everyone,
There is
So-
a website you should.
so should we, when we send around notes of this, point out the importance of these resources?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because basically all the budget stuff we're gonna get through Keystone Research, and some of the environmental stuff, the environmental group will work on. Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe, like you said, like say what we want to do different, and maybe get something like a bulleted list or something that we say like certain tax corporation board. This is one example, and get that passed in all the occupies in PA or that, or try to get them to sign on, and like have like a day where we like go down to Harrisburg and like try to get a bunch of people to deliver our ideas.
Yeah, 'cause we have to start on the local and then build it out. So that's a good way.
What about doing, that wouldn't involve as much travel, one day where everybody decides to present that declaration in an occupation of a local congressional office? Like they did the Mitch McConnell's office, except every Pennsylvania occupied picks a district office to occupy with this proposal. Just a thought.
I think my only issue with that is I'm kind of getting the impression that some people want to create a large groups to go to these kind of events to kind of create that appearance that there is this large group of people as opposed to those smaller groups occupying individually. I believe we were kind of talking about making a larger group appearance at one larger event kind of situation.
Yeah, there are events that are already scheduled, here in Harrisburg in particular, and you might want to just find out when those events are going on and show up to support them. One that's already gained some momentum is the movement against reversing the decision to cut people from food stamps if they have like $3,000 in savings, which originally was set because if they save money, they're going to be able to get themselves off of food stamps, get them into a better situation. But there's already a movement to reverse that. We think about getting involved in that.
Where could we find the information about the dates that those are happening? Is one question.
That's good. Yeah.
Because the other question would be for if we decided to do an event such as what Pam was talking about, would we use that? Is it too soon to jump to the Google Calendar thing? Would we utilize like the calendar to all be on a consensus about
What day, like everybody occupy on the same day with different offices?
who would like organize that and stuff? That would be my question.
I know that the Capitol has a list of events, and if we went through the list and picked out ones that we resonate with and want to support, that might be one way.
Where can we locate the list of capital events?
Call the information,
It's online.
the main switchboard at the Capitol.
Yeah, Lori's the lady who's in charge of this events that happen in the town.
Both outdoors on the steps and in the rotunda and other places in the building.
That's right.
Hey.
We have a big hearing coming up in practice, March 15th.
Okay, I just wanted to address the point that Donnie had made And earlier I made the point and agreed with him that